Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video on my last semester, my first semester at Boston College this past fall. Since the semester ended a few weeks ago, all I've been doing is really just sitting around watching TV and trying to read a little bit, walking outside, but it's really cold out and it's been rainy and snowy. Going to see my family, and that's about it. So it's been pretty boring. Oh yeah, I've also been cooking and baking a lot, which I love to do, and I just find that I don't have a lot of time during the semester. So the last semester was difficult. It was my first semester, so I only took 3 classes, but I found that the workload was extensive compared to Harvard. At Harvard Divinity School, we had classes like once or twice a week, but we had a lot of reading, and there was the expectation that you would come to class prepared with the reading, having kind of thought it through a little bit. We would have 2 big papers, maybe 15-20 pages each. Typically no exams unless it was a language class. Whereas at Boston College, we have 2 exams and 3 papers or 4 papers per class, plus a pretty strict attendance policy, which was frustrating because it's sometimes you have to miss class to do homework or all those papers or study for an exam. And quite frankly, a lot of the time I did not feel like the classes were worth going to. I didn't feel like they deepened my understanding of what we were learning about. It's just give me a book and I'll read it and do everything at home. So the papers were maybe less, 5 to 6 pages each, definitely less than Harvard, but still frustrating because you're still researching pretty much the same amount that you would for a longer paper. Anyway, felt like it was kind of a lot of work, felt overwhelmed a lot of the time. I was stressed much earlier in the semester than I was at Harvard. So I feel like the mentorship, pretty much about the same probably. I don't really ask for a lot of mentorship, but I would probably say it was equivalent. The student body is really different, so I found that women didn't really speak up a lot in class, or if they did, they kind of didn't disagree with a lot of what the common narrative, the common Catholic narrative was saying, or with what theologians were saying in the text that we had to read, and that was really frustrating. At Harvard, women spoke up a lot, and they were the ones that were most likely to disagree, or to speak up in class at all and to state their opinion, whereas at Boston College, it's not a lot of women, and the ones that do speak, it's okay, that didn't really add much value to what we all think about this. So a little frustrating. I kind of wanted more to discussion-based stuff and less let me lecture at you, because it really does feel like lecturing at when there's not an understanding of what we need to learn or what we think about the texts. There was very minimal discussion, which I don't like. I like a lot of discussion. I found that the discussion posts that we had to do based on the text we read per week were really not interesting to read. A lot of the students that wrote posts were writing based on their own personal experience, which of course is useful for pastoral theology, but not really useful for engaging with the source material or for engaging with me. How am I supposed to reply to something like that, when I can't relate to your experience of working in a youth setting, for example. I wanted it to be a little bit more academic and more critically engaged than it was. At Harvard, it's let's come up with a topic and a thesis and then develop evidence for that based on the sources. Whereas here it's people can kind of just say whatever they want. Don't like that part. Feel like the critical thinking is stronger at Harvard. The independent thinking is stronger at Harvard. At the same time, Boston College students are really kind, I would say in general. The faculty are really are good. I mean, they're really welcoming, but they were also at Harvard too. I do like how we're learning fundamental Catholic thought. as much as I was complaining about the lack of like discussions or independent thinking or critical thinking, it is helpful to have an exam to learn about, you know, what does the church actually mean when it says this versus like, what do I think about that? I mean, it's helpful to know the facts of what we're learning about based on what the church teaches and based on church history, rather than just like my formulating my own opinion on it. So I have kind of mixed feelings about that. Overall, the semester went by fast, but very stressful. I'm not really looking forward to next semester because I don't want to deal with the stress of that again. I'll probably only take 3 classes again. These are like intro level classes that require less written work, but more assignments. And I just find that like I put a lot into my work, so if I'm going to be getting a lot of assignments, it's best that I don't thin myself out and that I focus a little bit more on what I'm learning so that I actually gain more from this degree. Not really looking forward to it next semester. There's only one class that I'm semi-interested in that I'm looking forward to. The rest of them I'm just kind of like, oh, I hope this is good because I have to take it, and I don't know. But I've been trying to ask for the syllabi in advance and get course readings in advance. Not every faculty member has been good about that. Like, class starts in 10 days, and a lot of these people don't even have a syllabus yet, or a sense of like what we're going to be learning, or a sense of like what we need to read, which is kind of funny and understandable. So that's kind of it in terms of my updates. I may check back in later, but other than that, I think I'm just kind of sick of writing papers and still kind of burnt out from last semester. I would love to learn something that I feel like I can put into use, practical use, not only like in a ministry setting, because I don't see myself doing that, but more in terms of like healing. I really miss working with people and helping people like I did with yoga teaching. I felt like I was making an impact in people's lives immediately, and I miss that kind of immediate impact that I don't get when I'm sitting at a desk writing a paper, not even sure if people are going to read this paper. So just something I have to think about a little bit more as I decide if I want to do a PhD or not. But I'll keep you all updated. Have a great day.